Welcome to Getting to Know You. We, even though we're a community of about 350 people, we don't necessarily know each other well. And so Betty Osan came up with the idea of Getting to Know You, which we would ask a resident to share things that you wouldn't know unless they chose to share it. And we have Frank Hill here, who is a new member, has been here
2 months.
2 months. And I grabbed him right away and said, let's have an interview. Because I know a lot of people are very interested in you. You are capable of doing things that I would love to be able to do, but can't. You quilt and you embroider. I can embroider, but that's it. The other things, I thought I could learn to knit. I have a friend who talks and knits and talks. Well, I was like this, and my shoulders hurt, and I couldn't do it. So, anyway, your skills and habits are ones that are interesting to me.
I sure can't knit because my fingers don't work, but I could do a lot of quilting and sewing. I really enjoy it.
Good. I liked cross stitching.
Okay.
Which was pretty simple to do.
Okay.
But you were married 60 years.
67.
67. Wow.
I married a high school sweetheart.
And you had 2 daughters.
2 daughters. They both live here in Scottsdale, about 7 miles from here. And the home I moved from to come here was 7 miles. And so it's just like home family, you know.
And what was it like to be the only male in a family with 3 females?
Well, I tried real hard to be the male chauvinist, and they wouldn't let me.
They wouldn't, huh?
They wouldn't let me. So I wanted a dog, and I wanted a male dog, and they wouldn't let me have that. So, but I enjoyed it. I love them all, and they really take good care of me.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's
So
excellent.
we had a lot of fun.
Good. Tell me about your wife. You said
Oh,
high
my
school
wife,
sweetheart.
she's very interesting. She's from Cripple Creek, Colorado. Her dad was a miner, a gold miner, and they lived up in the hills, and it's right behind Pikes Peak.
Wow.
And so she lived there till she was 4 years old, and then she came back down to Denver, and I met her when I was in high school, and her brother was, she was a blind date, because I went to school with her brother. And she was ended up, she worked for the telephone company, and then she was a social worker. And we just had a very wonderful time. She gave me 2 wonderful daughters, and we just had a good time. We traveled around the world, and we traveled many states within the state. We loved to play golf, and so when we'd go to a different state, we would play golf and save up the golf balls, and put them in the thing, just so kind of a memory. But she was just a wonderful person. I miss her dearly.
And you came from Colorado here. How come? To
Well, I
golf?
came from, well, I moved all over the states.
Okay.
But my job took me from Denver to California, to Mississippi, back to California, to Manlius, New York, to Birmingham, Michigan, and here. But I ended up here because we used to vacation from Syracuse. We used to vacation down in Hilton Head. And it's a little buggy. And my brother and his wife used to vacation here in Scottsdale. And so they invited us down one spring, and we came down, and we liked it. And so we bought we kept coming here instead of Hilton Head, and we bought a condo in 1983 here in Scottsdale, and we kept it for 6 or 7 years because I was on a board of a company down here, and I could come down a couple times a month, a year. And then we sold it, but that's how I came here. When I thought about retiring, I says, well, how about Phoenix, Arizona? And my wife said, fine with me. So that's how we ended up at Phoenix. We loved it. We moved here permanently in 1990, and enjoyed every minute of it. We lived in Stonegate community, and within that community, we moved 3 times to 3 different homes. We had a patio home at first, and it was too small because my daughter from London and my daughter from Syracuse would come to visit us, and it was a little crowded, so we moved to a larger place in Stonegate, and it was just super. But then my daughters, they didn't start not to come anymore, and so it got too big. So we moved to another place in Stonegate, and that's where we stayed.
And does your brother still live here?
No, my brother, he passed. I only have living now, I have 2 sisters. And both my brothers and my oldest sister, they were deceased.
So that sounds like a large family.
Yeah, we had 6 wonderful families. Just didn't have much, but we sure had a lot of love. And I just remember nothing but good things about it. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you brought that love to your own family, too.
Oh, they're the greatest. I have 2 granddaughters from one of my daughters, and I have 2 grandsons from the other daughter. And thank God one daughter had the girls and the other daughter had the boys, because if they would have switched, I don't know what would happen. But the boys to me are like my sons. And one of them calls me Dad. And they're wonderful people. The girls are wonderful. My one granddaughter, she lives in London. She was born in London because my oldest daughter lived in London for 20 years. And so she moved back to London 3 years ago, and she loves it. And the other one is, she's here in Scottsdale, and she's a disc jockey. And she goes on gigs a couple of 3 times a month. And her name is Blossom. It's a lot of fun. I just can't imagine her doing all things like that, but that's it. But then my younger daughter, she lives here, like I said, about 7 miles from here, and she has a good job with Republic Waste Disposal, and her boys are, like I said, one is in New Jersey and the other is in Atlanta, but she has 2 dogs, and the dogs are Rottweilers, and they're just lovely and they're big, but that's her family, and that's about it. The whole 9 yards.
And what had you pick Westminster?
Well, like I said, I was lonesome, and my daughter my oldest daughter has a business, and her partner was talking to her about her partner's partner has a father that's here, and so he was telling my daughter Vanessa about how his father loved Westminster. And so she talked to me one day, I was over sewing with her, and she said, Daddy, she says, since you're lonesome and everything, he says, have you ever thought about going to a retirement center? I says, no, but I wouldn't be against it. And so she told me about Westminster, and I think that was a Wednesday. I went home and I called up and I talked to Tina, had an interview with her on Friday and saw the different places, and put my money down on Monday.
Uh-huh.
So it was a fast romance.
Uh-huh. And it was a good time to sell a house.
Oh, a wonderful time to sell a house, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I love everything. I tell you, I haven't been as happy since my wife passed as I am right now.
Mm-hmm. You
I
stay
love-
busy?
Staying busy, the people here are friendly, the facilities are wonderful, the food is good, so I have no complaints.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, you're going forward.
I'm going forward. I spend 6 to 8 hours a day sewing,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife's she's got her own company. My daughter has her own company, and she designs patterns
Mm-hmm.
for quilting, and so when she designs a pattern, I check it out. I sew it to make sure that her instructions and everything are correct, and then I make her the samples that she takes around the shows,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps me busy. I keep her busy giving me things, but we have a good time. We have a wonderful time. Every Friday evening, my two daughters and my son-in-law, they come here and we have a pizza night.
Very good.
And so that's kind of a routine.
Uh-huh. Excellent.
Yeah.
You also were in information to IT.
Yes.
That was a very, very young profession when you went into
Sure
it.
was.
What got you into that?
Well, I say it was in 1951. My oldest brother worked for Denver Rio Grande, and I went down in Denver. I went down to meet him for dinner one night,
Mm-hmm.
and when I walked in where he was working, I saw these machines, and I saw these boards with all different color wires on it, and I thought, boy, that looks interesting. And so that's what started the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And I went in the service in the Marine Corps, and I for 3 years I was stationed in Laguna Beach, California, and I got to go to some very good IBM schools in LA through the Marine Corps. And then when I got discharged, I went back and started in those days it was called EAM, Electronical Machine Records, and that was before computers. And then I stayed in that business, and then just grew from there to one to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a wonderful profession. It was a lot of changes,
Yes.
and it took me to a lot of places.
Uh-huh. I hear curiosity in your life. Open to new things.
Oh,
You-
I'm always open to new things.
Uh-huh.
That's why I think I like sewing. All patterns that my daughter develops are new.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sew them, you see new things.
Mm-hmm.
And you try this on, you try that. Maybe this doesn't work, but this does work. She picks the colors because she's got a flair for colors. But that's just enthusiastic. It's just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And every pattern is new, and it's different.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of machine do you work on?
I got two machines. I have a sewing machine, a baby lock sewing machine, which sews and embroiders.
Uh-huh.
And when it embroiders, you embroider one color at a time, and then they got to change the thread and all that. And so I loved embroider, and you have to sit there and keep changing the thread, which is fine, because the pattern is the files. My daughter creates files that you plug into the computer in the machine, and that's how you sew, you embroider. So I thought, well, I could do it a lot faster. So I bought a 10-needle sewing machine, embroidery machine, which has 10 different colors. And then when you put in the program to embroider the pattern, you select the colors for each step and all that. And then you start it, and it goes, and it changes colors without you being there. So I can have it working, and I can go and work on something else. And that's why when I came here, we got a 2-bedroom home, apartment, and the master bedroom is now my studio. I have my computer in there and my 2 machines, and it's the same size area that I had in my house, so everything worked out perfect.
That's super.
Oh, it's everything is just hunky-dory.
I'm so glad. When I was a little girl, my grandmother had a pedal
machine.
Sewing machine. And she was really good at saying, I could say, I want the sleeves of this, and I want the skirt of this, and she'd do the pattern, and then a couple of weeks later, she'd say, Sharon, go up to the bedroom to the left, look in the closet, and here would be an outfit.
Oh, boy.
And I still will have wonderful dreams of going up to a closet and opening, and all sorts of clothes are there.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think she could imagine an 18 needle machine.
Well, no, it has changed. Excuse me, it has changed a lot. I couldn't sew with using my fingers, so the machines are just fabulous.
And you're in the other room.
Oh, I'm in the other room. Yeah, because the only thing's in there is a bed, and so it works so good.
Sounds like magic.
It is magic. That the apartment I've got is just perfect. Both the daughters think that it's cozy and homey, and I have a lot of my embroidery stuff hanging on the walls, and so it's very, very cozy.
Sounds like you're well organized.
I better be. I am not to a problem, but I am organized. Yeah.
When did you go into the Marines?
My brother, when did I, or why did I?
Why did you?
Okay, I was 17 years old, and so I had to have my mother's permission to join. And I joined because my brother, he was in the Marines, and he got hurt in the Marines, and he came home as a quadplegic.
Oh dear.
And I used to take care of him, and then I joined up, and a couple of my buddies at school joined up with me, and so I had a real good time in the Marine Corps. It was very good for me. I had no trouble with the discipline because my father and mother were
Very strict.
very strict, but they're lovely, but they very strict. And so when I was in the Marines, because I had some knowledge and some history of EAM machines, they put me in machine records. And then from there, they sent me to school up in LA to the IBM school, and it was just wonderful. But I joined because of my brother.
And there was an IBM school that they sent you to.
Oh yeah, in Los Angeles, it was a big one. Yeah.
Interesting.
I gotta say that when I went into service, I was engaged. I got engaged at 17.
Early age.
17. And we got married when we were 19. It's my oldest brother, he got married when he was 18, so he beat me by a year.
And at that time, like that would sound very strange to your grandchildren.
They can't believe it.
Right.
They can't believe it.
But at that time, it wasn't unusual.
No, it was
for
not.
people to be.
It was not unusual. It was kind of a norm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we all, let's see, my sisters got married in their early 20s. And then so it was a norm.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. I'm glad that I'd do the same thing over again.
Mm-hmm. And you sort of helped each other grow up.
Oh, we're a close family, very close family. None of this is, he said that or she said that. No, it's this wonderful family.
Mm-hmm.
My sister right now is 94, and she just went into a rest home in Colorado, and we talk every day.
Mm-hmm.
And my little sister, she's in California,
Mm-hmm.
and we talk quite often.
And how old is that little sister?
81.
81 and a little sister.
Well, I still right.
Will she ever get to grow up?
I don't want her to. She's a doll. She's a doll. Well, like I said, we had a wonderful family.
Uh-huh. And you made a good brother.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do have 3 great-grandchildren,
Mm-hmm.
and another one on the way. And I've seen one of them, but I haven't seen the other 2 because they live in Atlanta. But we converse often,
Mm-hmm.
and they send me pictures often, so I know them.
Mm-hmm. Do you do FaceTime?
Yeah, sometimes, but they gave me this picture book
Mm-hmm.
that they send me pictures on. Excuse me. And I look at that. It goes on. I've got it set to go on at 5 o'clock at night and go off at 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there watching TV, but I still have those pictures coming up, and I love that.
I do too.
I love that very much.
All of a sudden, one of your grandchildren
I know
is
it.
smiling.
Right.
Right. It's wonderful, the technology that
Oh, it
has
is.
changed all those things. So,
Lovely memories.
mm-hmm. And those 4 grandchildren, did you say any of them are in London or just your daughter?
One's in London, one's in Atlanta, one's in New Jersey, and the other one's here.
Uh-huh. So, spread out.
It's spread out, but we always get together.
Mhm.
It's spread out, but there's telephones and there's texts and there's emails, and we communicate all the time.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you're the heart of the spoke.
Yeah. They pay attention to Grandpa.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of fun. My youngest daughter, who lives here also, she's a doll. She pays attention to Grandpa.
Uh-huh. So,
But it's a lot of fun.
uh-huh. And did your wife have siblings?
My wife had one brother, and he lived in Denver. His wife is still in Denver, and he was 3 years older than Joan, but we were close. But I didn't like him at all in school. Oh, we had problems in school. And then he fixed me up with this blind date with the sister, and I grew to love him.
What didn't you like to begin with?
Oh, we were different personalities.
Mhm.
You know. Just kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was just super.
And what had you risk a blind date when you weren't that sure you liked him?
Well, because I was going to, I think I was going to football practice, and I picked him up at his house. And this gal went through the front room, living room, and I went, pretty nice looking. And so that's about it. And then he said he was going out with this girl, and he said, "Would you like to double date?" I says, "Yeah, with who?" And he says, "My sister." And I said, "Yeah." So that's how that all started. But it's just a fun life.
Uh-huh.
No regrets.
Uh-huh. There's that risk taker again.
Yeah. Anyway.
And now I'd like you to share some of the things you've made. I had asked for you to bring things.
Okay.
Could
So,
you do that?
okay. I always like to do that. Well, first of all, here's a quilt I just finished.
Oh my goodness.
And it's a quilt. I had one like this. I had one like this in my living room in my apartment.
Uh-huh.
And my grandson came up to visit me early January, and he liked it so much he took it home. So I had to make another one. And on this side here is Minky. So when you sleep with it, it's nice and soft.
It's beautiful and very soft. And what's this fabric called?
This is his backing.
Just that.
This is Minky. Yeah.
Boy, that is a beautiful, beautiful
Well,
blanket.
these are now this pattern here is one that Vanessa and myself, we both designed it.
Uh-huh.
And it's I have a bunch of dies
Mhm.
that do my cutting, and see, so I don't have to use the scissors, and so it makes these cuts, and the dies are so good that when you piece the pieces together, they really fit good,
Mhm.
and so they come out real nice.
This is beautiful.
So,
Very
and then my daughter, though, her business is she makes designs for quilts.
Uh-huh.
And then let's see, we got, if you want to see anything
Oh, I
else?
want to see all of it.
Okay, then this here is just something that we put together. It's a little pillow people put on their desks. Or
Uh-huh. That is really
and
cute. You are very
she comes
sweet.
We have the whole thing on that, and that's a little pillow. Okay, and then what I do is, since I've been here, my daughters and I decided that in the front door of my apartment, why don't we stay with the tradition of things? So for Christmas, we had Christmas up.
Uh-huh.
And so now for Valentine's Day, we have hearts and everything up. So now I'm getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. And what we did here on St. Patrick's Day is we came up with this little banner here,
Oh, that's super. And all the four-leaf clovers or
and
three-leaf.
then I'll just hang this on the door.
Uh-huh.
And then then this here I'll hang on the door too. This is for St. Patty's Day.
Oh, how great.
See, now these are the things I love to make.
Uh-huh, and they're so pretty. Just beautiful.
Thank you.
And now is that material,
That is embroidery. This here is applique.
mhm,
They're pieces of letters or the shamrocks, and then you take them and you put them on a piece of fabric that you have already quilted, and you sew around them, you embroider around them.
Well, that gives embroidery a new meaning.
Oh gosh, it is just a lot of fun too. And then what I do is for my apartment, I have a round table, and I got to stay with it. So for Christmas I had a tablecloth and a bar. So for Valentine's Day I have a tablecloth. So for St. Patrick's Day I made
wow.
this. And then on top of that, I put a little bowl.
You've got a lot of luck in that apartment.
I love that.
I do too.
And then these are just things that I've made.
Ooh,
To hang up.
pretty.
On these banners here, we got all kinds of welcome and all different sayings. And then
And the
I
colors
made,
are so bright.
here's the one I had in the kitchen, but I haven't hung it up.
Uh-huh. Oh, let's see. Shake it like like a Polaroid picture. Happiness is homemade. I like that one. And it's getting hot here. Those are so fun. And you do the design?
No,
Your daughter?
I buy the clip art,
Uh-huh.
and then we go ahead and I just do the embroidery on them, and then do the border.
And with the salt and peppers, those are very unique.
So those are the things, and then we do pillows and we do
Uh-huh.
things like that. But you wanted some.
Yes, samples.
This is what keeps me busy.
You know, here we have a craft show. Are you familiar with the craft show?
Yeah, and we're going to be there.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, because these would be.
Yeah, and then I think these are going to go real good on the craft show.
Uh-huh.
These are good
This
for.
is-
I have some of them with potato chips,
Uh-huh.
fabric and peanut fabric,
Uh-huh.
and I use them for that. And then you can just wash them right because it got a vinyl on it.
Uh-huh, I see that. Wow. Lucky neighbors that live across from you.
Oh, I tell you, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
And they're beautiful.
I'll just do it this way. Thank you, Vic. So, that is my
And
that
have-
is my show and tell.
Yes, have you done anything special for those 3 great-grandchildren?
Well, when we make them their birth certificate, we make a birth. They put sayings on them. We have their weight and their date of birth and all this. So we made one for each of the grandchildren. We've made quilts for them.
Uh-huh.
And so that's about it. And then I used to, we made table runners with my daughter's patterns. And when I made a table runner for the long one, when we had that table in my house, I'd have to make 3 of them. One for me, one for Vanessa, my sister, my daughter, and the other one for Valerie, my daughter. And so we made 3 of everything. So you don't make 1, you make 3.
Uh-huh. That's excellent. And then 4 grandchildren.
Mhm. Well, yeah, 4 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren.
And how old are they?
Oh, come on. 5. Tomorrow's 3. He'll be 3. And then 1 and 1. 1, 3, 5, and 1 on the way.
Mm-hmm. So an active little crew.
Oh, yeah. Very, very good, very good. One's, the oldest granddaughter is 5. She's Nona.
Uh-huh.
And the next grandson is Santino, and the youngest one is Luciano. And so I don't know what the next one's going, what they're going to call him.
And have any of them met Bruno?
Met who?
Bruno, the big turtle here?
No, because they haven't been here
Yes.
yet. But I'm looking forward to having them come out sometime. My grandson, excuse me, he gets out here on business a couple times a year, so that's a lot of fun.
Yes, yes. And you said one of them calls you Dad.
Yeah, that's the oldest grandson. He's a good boy. Well, they're both good boys.
Very good. Well, it's been wonderful hearing about your family.
Oh,
And,
I'm very proud of them.
yes, I would be too. And when you were in Colorado, what had you go to California to school?
No, I went to school when I got out of
The Marine.
service.
Oh, okay.
I was stationed in, well, let's see. Okay, I left the Marine Corps and I went back to Denver, and then we took a job with Litton Industries in California, and that's when I did my schooling.
So, lots of travel.
Oh yeah, we've. I used to get to go around the world I've been around the world about 4 times. I used to, business-wise, and that was a lot of fun.
Did you have favorite spots?
I love Singapore. I like Australia, and that's about it. You know, they were all good, but I didn't spend too much time sightseeing because I went to
You were
work.
working.
Yeah.
Would you like to go back to any of them again?
I wouldn't. I don't want to go on an airplane anymore. I went back to see my sister last July with my daughter, and that's the last time. I used to love to travel, and the wife and I used to drive all over, but now I'm set here.
Too comfy here.
Yeah, if they want to see me, they come here now.
And it's easy to come here,
Oh yeah,
the
oh,
airport and so on.
yeah. And it's a good place. It's a resort.
That's right.
Yeah, that's my youngest daughter, Valerie. She used to live in Syracuse, and she used to come out here and she says, "Oh, I'm going to go to the resort called the Hills Home," you know. So she'd come out here. This is just a wonderful place.
We'll have to put you on the marketing committee. I'm glad you're liking it here.
Oh, boy, I love it.
And you're experiencing people open and friendly and
Oh, here it's just really open and friendly. I don't know a stranger. You walk down the hall, you've never seen this person before. You say hello, they stop and say hello, and it's just wonderful. Instead of walking by you, it's just wonderful. And the staff here is fabulous.
aren't they fabulous? Yes. And that they're all vaccinated is nice.
Yes, ma'am. That's very nice.
When you hear from your sister and where she's at, do you have a sense of what the differences are?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Night and day. Night and day, but it's, I've not seen it. I've not been there. And she's still getting used to it. And she's a little that age that it's going to be a little harder for her to get used to it.
That little sister at 85.
Oh, no, that was my oldest sister. The little sister, she's still married, and she takes care of her husband. And she's a Pistols. She's a live wire.
Lots of energy in your
Oh,
family.
yeah, you're right.
Very good. Well, I'm wondering, is there anything we haven't covered that you might wish tomorrow morning, oh shucks, I should have said this?
Not, I'm just so happy, I don't know.
Mhm.
I just have no complaints. I'm looking forward to every day.
Mhm. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
You gotta have a good attitude.
Yep, and you certainly do.
Why walk around here with a chip on your shoulder, right?
Right.
Life's too short.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, I really appreciate your
Well,
sharing.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. And thank you very much, young lady.
Our producer.
Yeah.
So,
But it's been very nice of you to invite me.
and do you miss the snow at all?
Not one bit. Not one bit.
Well, I grew up in the Midwest where snow was common,
Yes.
and our oldest daughter was 5 when we moved here, and she viewed herself as the historian of her siblings. And so when we moved here, Flagstaff had snow. So we drove up to see the snow. Before we knew it, our oldest daughter was in the car pouting. I went to the car and said, Lynn, what's wrong? The snow I remember was warm.
Was warm.
I guess as a little kid in a snowsuit,
Yeah.
it was warm.
Yeah.
But-
Well, that's one thing. My wife loved to ski.
Uh-huh.
I didn't, but she loved to ski. I would go up there with her, but that was she loved to ski, and we both loved golf.
Uh-huh. And golf. Do you golf now?
No, I gave it all up since I can't close my fingers.
Mhm.
But that's okay. As long as I can sew, that's good with me.
And in the other room.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm not far from that.
I don't think my grandmother would have believed it.
Well, you're welcome to come look at it anytime you want, because I like to show you my wall hangings and things.
I might take you up on that offer.
Please do.
Interesting.
Please do.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Well,
And I'm so glad that you're part of the Westminster
Well,
community.
thank you very
You're
much.
adding a
Very
lot.
much. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All righty.